we're back. I'm Ronnie James Harris of the Limitless Channel, and I'm joined by Jason for Wake Souls. How you doing, bro?
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. 1 week from today, the Season of Destruction opener. Woo! Only on Fox. That's how I feel. Actually, it's probably going to be on a whole bunch of channels. We are going to go through tonight some of the propaganda that we see from the New World Order relating to 9/11, and we're going to talk about reasons why we think that this might be the prelude to the Great Tribulation. We actually think the Great Tribulation is going to start with trumpets, which is later in September. So we got a whole bunch of stuff that we want to share with people. We've been doing basically just gathering up the intel that we see. We're going to be doing weekly hangouts on Sunday nights for sure. So we'll be going live Sunday night if we can. We'll talk about the reasons why we might not be able to. But we're 3 weeks away from trumpets right now. So we're 1 week away from the full moon, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff regarding that. Brother, tell me what you're seeing over the course of this last week.
Yeah, 9/11 approaching, ritual season. What are they going to do? What are we going to see pop off? You're going to be touching on a few good, interesting topics tonight regarding, McAfee and a whole bunch of other stuff. Is it raining? It was just like
something's going on out there. The wind's blowing all crazy all of a sudden.
I'm definitely excited and anticipating, the supernatural coming back.
Going?
I don't hear any sirens. But I'm anticipating the supernatural's return. I'm looking forward to seeing the great signs and wonders in the heavens. There's no doubt in my mind that the demons have been also using whatever they're doing in the sky to actually block out some of the things we've been seeing. The aurora borealis was insane last night in Hearst, Ontario. My dad was able to capture it with his cell phone. Pretty crazy looking energy bursts. So that tying together with this whole electric universe nonsense, suspicious observer crap, all tied in with the new sunspot, served up right in time for the full moon. Also touching upon that movie that we watched where the moon was like destroying the earth. It was an ancient seed, how our ancestors were able to seed the so-called planet Earth. But there was some symbolism in that movie that I was just blown away by. We're going to be touching upon all these different things. So, I'm just looking forward to the festival season. If everybody doesn't know, my favorite time of the year is most likely fall. I love the summertime too, but I've always been a big fan of the fall. The trees change color. It's super beautiful. The death and rebirth and the birth of, Christ and Adam both happened in October. So obviously we've got the great festivals, even if we're going to make them to it, right? You keep saying that there's a good chance that they're going to pull some kind of cataclysmic event and we're going to have power down. Everybody's going to, first come back on the radio. And then after that, they're going to turn the TVs and the internets back on so that people can get the Tavistock mind control moving into the Mark of the Beast system that they're about to just roll out. I should say wild animal. I said the not sayable word, but I don't know. Maybe we're allowed to talk about that stuff now. That's what I foresee. I'm looking forward to seeing the signs in the heavens. I'm excited. Let's go. Let's do this.
Absolutely. So finally, I get the opportunity to respond to Flat Earth Stigma. And so he's been asking, is it my eyes or the drone? Does everything have its own sun? Does everything have its own moon? Does everything have its own stars? And you finally get to have the answer. I'm sorry I haven't been able to respond to you till now. You're not blocked. Yes, every single observer has its own celestial lights. The world is being rendered to each observer. Now, I know you're trying to go around mocking me for saying this. You've already made a sort of a hit piece type video saying that I'm not responding to you. Understand that you're not the most important thing in the world. And I try to respond to important things. It just so happens that it's been my birthday. We work 40 hours a week, and because I'm the business owner and have to maintain everything as far as the books and the customer relations and the material purchasing and stuff like that, there's another 20, 25, 30 hours that goes into it. So I'm a busy guy. I try to respond to as much as I can, and the conversation had gotten drawn out, but please make the video saying Jason says everything has its own observer, because it's what Ronnie and I have been proving for the last 5 years. We literally have thousands of hours of content that it shows a person how they can go out and demonstrably prove this for themselves. I know you want to say Jason wants you to believe. It has nothing to do with believing, and actually has to do with knowing. It's actually testing, observing, and knowing. So finally got the chance to respond to you. I hope that satisfies your curiosity and your impetuousness to have already made a call out video of me. So chill out if you want to stay around. You're not blocked yet.
Can I add to that? Did he get blocked?
Yeah.
Nah, he got a timeout. That's fine. Yahawah's daughter does a great job. Yahawah's daughter does a great job in the moderator section. So what we're saying is that there's a set pattern to the luminaries that everybody witnesses. Now, from each person's spot, they see their own circle of sight. That's how in one part of the realm, somebody sees the sun setting, somebody sees the sun rising, and at some point someone sees it at midday, and a bunch of people, it's dark. When you're at a beach and you're filming the sun, you can leave your camera there, take another camera, and walk down to the other end of the beach, and you'll notice that the angle of the sun follows the observer. Okay, you can do it with a drone, the rise the drone, and this and that, proving that each person has their own perspective to the luminaries, the sun, the stars, rainbows, all of it. Someone could see a cloud covering the sun with crepuscular rays coming out of it, and 10 miles down the road, someone can see a blue sky with the sun in it at the same time. So what we're trying to say is that it's personal observer has the view, like everyone has the Google glasses on. The sky just interacts with us in a virtual way, and we all have our own pictures in the sky. We're not saying that there's 8 billion suns, or because there's like what, billions and billions of cameras. We're not saying that each sun, no, everybody sees the same picture. There's a movie playing in the sky. The luminaries in the south circle clockwise, the luminaries in the north circle counterclockwise, and along the ecliptic path, the wandering stars all go like this. That's it. That's it.
It works the exact same way any virtual reality, augmented reality that you
or video game.
Yeah, that you can use today. So if I put the glasses on, Ronnie puts the glasses on, we go into a room, and they have set up in the virtual reality headset that when we look above the horizon, there's going to be sky and there's going to be luminaries in it. Each one of us is going to see the position of those luminaries based on our position in the room and the way that we're turning.
Depending on your longitude and latitude on the map, which gives you your east, west, north, and south.
The only way they can be exactly the same is if you line up the headsets literally inside each other. They have to, our eyes would have to be melded with somebody else's eyes. A camera sitting next to each other, two cameras sitting next to each other have a different angle of view to all the luminaries. Be it small, that's the closest you can get, but then you separate them, and then the difference is you can see that things don't actually triangulate out because everything is a personal circle of sight. So we can prove all that.
And I just wanted to add in, because he also commented on my channel, because that's what people are doing now. Jason's finished talking to them, and they come over and think like they can come and just say the same stuff to me. Listen, Jason's going to come over and respond to you on my channel too, so you're not going to get away from it. I agree with what Jason says. We talk to each other, and if we can't debunk the things that we say, we agree on them. And if one of us can debunk them, we don't speak them. I just wanted to address that quickly because, you know, if people start to understand the reality and pay more attention, they'll be able to find these answers too. We can all come to the truth together. Now, you can balk, bite, fight, whatever you want to do, kick and claw and promote things that are not real. But when you start making fun of Jason or trying to mock him or belittle him over something that you're misrepresenting, you need to be brought to task. So I'm not going to bring this up anymore. You know, what else did you want to talk about?
Well, and we have people in the chat saying, hey, come on, we got bigger things to talk about. Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed is the debunk video that I did of Eric Dubay recently, where he was defending the fake flat earth with the Mount Rainier shadow and all that. It's got like 1,100 views on it, but it's from a while ago now. And then our last hangout where we started covering the lead up to trumpets here, we've got about the same amount of videos. So people are actually more interested in end times right now than they are flat earth and fake flat earth and that kind of stuff. And I hear you. So let's get into end times type discussions now. We're going to be going into a number of characters we started last week. We introduced Bill and Gideon. These are the guys at the top of the CSRQ circles. So if you haven't heard about that, that's the social credit scoring system software that's supposed to be in place with the new digital currency. So the whole Great Reset requires digital currency that's going to make you identifiable and trackable, and they're going to control your assets. They're going to introduce UBI, Universal Basic Income, but it's going to be based on how you were socially ranked. And so these guys are at the top of that food chain, and there's some interesting narratives coming out of them. I actually from the comms of what they're saying, what they're expecting, I had heard from them that on the 3rd that they were going to flip the switch on the 5Gs, and that this was somehow supposed to induce a takeover, a control of the people that have been, taking the mark. So I was looking on the 3rd for something like this, and seeing how that they react to having said this. How are they going to handle it now? And they're still moving right ahead. Everything's aimed at 9/11. So it's interesting now, biblically speaking, a 1-week notice, that's what was given to Noah. All right, so here we are at a 1-week notice to 9/11. Are we going to get some sort of a notice from the New World Order as far as what's coming up? Now, there's a whole bunch of clues out there. We're going to try to show you the clues that we've seen that they've been dropping. None of it's absolute, none of it's conclusive. We're not setting a date. We're pointing to what looks like the date that they have set, and there's a lot of things to support that this is actually coming up a week from now, and it's on a full moon, and then 2 weeks later would be trumpets. The real trumpets is what we've been looking for. So I just want to mention now, where are the watchmen? All right, so since trumpets of 2017, when we saw the Revelation 12 sign, all right, the virgin with the crown of 12 stars, the sun clothing her, moon beneath her feet, we were all watching, we were all excited. They had said rapture, 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 and we hadn't even checked to see if that was biblical yet. We're like, oh yeah, let's rapture. And so 2017, that sign, we saw it. It had the 12 stars as depicted. Now that's trumpets, right? So that sign got us prepared for trumpets, and there's a lot of reasons to believe that trumpets is when the Great Tribulation begins. Jerry Tooney's been saying it for years and years and years. He's given tons of evidence, and now he doesn't even talk about where is he? What happened to him? So we've got these what were rapture watchers from 2017, which would be Adam Parable of the Bank, Tooney, Steve Fletcher, and I don't know if there's any others, because Dr. Barry, he's new. The Aaron from God in a Minute, he's new. So really, there's only a couple of them left, and you don't hear Fink, you don't hear Fletcher, you don't hear Tooney. None of these guys are even talking about trumpets or the fact that 9/11 is 1 week from now. So it's just really weird that they've let off. In fact, even Dr. Barry has a video now saying, I don't think it's going to be trumpets or atonement. Right? So there seems to be psyops at play here, and we'll try to flush it all out for you the best we can. What you say, brother?
Let's do this.
Should we get into it?
Sure.
All
Are
right.
you ready to get you switched over? Take the screen share. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
All right, I just got to get my camera out of the way. So, hope you all are doing all right. It's I know things are getting tougher and tougher in the world, and people are getting closer and closer to what feels like a breaking point. I'm trying to put this out here for everybody tonight, not as doom porn, but as actually comfort. So the righteous people, when the Great Tribulation begins, they get protected, right? They get brought into the promised land. They come into their inheritances, and the tears are going to be wiped away from their eyes. They're going to have plenty, and they're not going to have to worry about dying anymore. So the righteous people are looking forward to the Great Tribulation, because this is when punishment starts being meted out on the wicked.
Everything is going really well. We're clear on the screen, and everything is centered. I like the way it sounds. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. The righteous are going to be protected, and even if you die, you will be brought back. Okay, you will respawn.
Can you hear the dog? Should I close the window?
That sounds fine. Actually, it's mostly the background from my own mic. Your Zoom has a great audio cancel feature. So no, go ahead. You are good to go.
All right. So we're not going through any of this Dr. Barry Off stuff, but I just wanted to point out that this is his most recent video from August 31st, and it's Rapture at Trumpets or Atonement, maybe not. And I didn't even watch the whole video, but so he's talking about Shemitahs, he's talking about all these timelines, and he's got everything lined up for a trumpets Great Tribulation kickoff, and then somehow he's trying to undermine it and say maybe not. So one thing I want to point out real quick here is sort of an answer for a friend of ours who had asked recently why we should think that it's the year 2022, that the trumpets is going to be the beginning of the Great Tribulation, because it could be trumpets of any year, right? 2023, 2024. So we're going to stack up a few of the reasons why it would be 2022 tonight. And the reason why I say all this is because last year at Trumpets, we were going around telling everybody that in order for the Great Tribulation to fit in with the amount of time that Israel's been around, that it was going to the Great Tribulation was going to need to start last year at Trumpets in order to fall within the 80 years, right, that a generation is said to be. So 70 or 80, so 80 would be the high end. And so we were saying Trumpets last year because we were going with the 1948 date. And so I took a look at it again, and if you look at when Israel, if you just have Israel in Wikipedia, they say the declaration was on May 14th, 1948. So that's the reason why we're saying 80 years last year for the Great Tribulation starting Trumpets last year. But if you take a look here, there's two dates given. One's the admission to the United Nations. So May the 11th, 1949 is when Israel was accepted by the New World Order into their United Nations conglomeration, right? So they were the ones that orchestrated everything with the world wars in order to set up the situation for the creation of a state of Israel. And they declared independence in May of 1948, but they weren't actually accepted as a nation into the United Nations until 49. So 7 years from all right, so if you go May 11th, 1949 to like September 27th, right, which is when the new moon's going to be 27th or 28th, we're going to be watching it. On this new moon is going to be Tishri 1, trumpets. And so that's 880 months, right? But it's 73 years and 4 months. So if you add 7 years from this point, this is an 80. So it'd be 80 years and 4 months. So 80 and change before it turned 81, right?
Just to let people know, so it's a biblical thing, a generation is seen as 8 years, and it's a quote from the New Testament saying that this generation shall not pass away until these things are done. So we're saying that this is fitting into that. But I want to point out that the timeline is on the Father's timeline. No man or no angel knows but the Father. We're just pointing out the things that we see that line up.
Exactly. So just wanted to point that out. And let's see. How do we keep this rolling? Let's keep it rolling with some Telegram stuff.
Let people know what we're in here. So I don't know if everybody used Telegram. I'm going to put the link to our Telegram group in the chat as Jason goes through this. But yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so this channel right here, can you see the top header of it?
No. I can see pinned message. Ultra nuclear mega force Q.
There.
These jokers. Is there any pictures of McAfee still alive anywhere near here?
Yeah, it's in this. If somebody goes here, this is ultra nuclear mega force Q.
Force Q.
We are mocking this to the max. But it's got 224,000 subscribers, which I think is big for
we got 220
Telegram group.
Yeah, that's big. Mm-hmm.
And so like Ronnie said, the John McAfee. All right, everybody remember John McAfee? I hate to break it to you, if you thought he's dead, there's a good chance you were wrong, because he posts here. And there's videos showing up of him that look much more aged than when he was supposedly dead, right?
Yeah, he's the death faker that's not coward enough to continue to hide. He comes out and shows himself, right?
Yeah.
I respect that. I really do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But so he's massive Q-tard, and all the people that are here are massive Q-tards. So the type of stuff that is posted, this is where the Bill and Gideon stuff showed up. This is where the conversations about, oh wow.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, something's starting to kick off.
Yeah, we're expecting something to happen crazy, so. Keep going, you're good.
This is where those conversations, the Bill and Gideon stuff. Now there's another, if you type into the search on here, We Are Sovereign, you'll find another group. They're the CSRQ group. It's another Q-tard group, and they're all about CSRQ over there on We Are Sovereign. But this is more of a rounded out traditional Q-type posting where it's got all this cryptid talk, and
he speaks in a parabolic language, right? Q.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. That's just funny to me. Okay, it's funny.
So here's a post from today, September 4th, from 12:33. It's already got 1,136 comments on it, and to give you an idea of what's going on over here, it says sub 60 gigahertz mind wipe en route. To be aware is to be alive. See something, say something, slow drip. Venus, Pleiades, 11-9-9-11. Define the way. Tastes like milk. Just to start, watch the water. X flares. On the clock, day and night we pray. Amen. Q. So the stuff that I see here of interest is this frequency.
600 hertz.
Yeah, the guy that we're going to sort of go through a little bit, we're not going to really cover his information too much other than to point out that these are the guys that are saying that. It's too boring and tedious to go through.
We're just giving you guys some of the gravy of what Jason's been amalgamating over the last few days.
Yeah, but so the frequency they're saying is going to come from towers, right? And it's a new tech, and it harmonizes with injectables, right?
Yeah, we can't go too much deeper than that.
No,
unless you want to go to the BFE channel again.
No, I think we can talk around it just fine.
Okay.
And so that with these certain frequencies, basically the CDC zombie apocalypse
Yes.
is going to take place.
So that's a possibility, which the CDC ran a scenario and did a bunch of drills where they pretended that everybody turned into a bunch of zombies. So we're just pointing it out that they are forecasting this. I shared a meme last week about the image and name that shall not be named or shared, pointing a signal to basically like a cell phone antenna inside an NPC's head. So we wonder that the ones that haven't exited out to lunch, but not the one at noon, due to the Jabolas, is this going to interact when they turn these things on? So it is a great supposition, Jason. And they have, they did all those stupid zombie TV shows. They got everybody primed to think. And then in the scriptures, it talks about those that wish they could die, but they will not during those times. So we're tying all this together into the scriptural understanding as well.
Yeah, so we'll get into some more of the details of the frequency thing when we get to that guy's channel. All right, so mind wipe en route. En route, this to me sounds like a solar flare type of thing. And all right, so Venus Pleiades, here we get the 9, we get 11-9 and 9-11. They went both directions with it here, right? You can't...
So did Mac, remember? He did his first video in his car and he had the 6s, and then he did his next one, it was the 9s.
All right, so watch the water. You could see in the intro that all of the propaganda has been prepping for a wave. Watch the water, X flares. Here's your solar. This isn't a class C. This isn't a class M. This is a class X, right? This is the big time they're talking about now. And so you get stuff like this, and then after that, what are they showing? Here's supposedly a shot from today, September 4th. If you look in the details here, and now they didn't say this here, but there's a AR 3089 is the one that they've been talking about, and I think it's this one that's down here in the corner right here. So that's some of the tabs that we'll be going through regarding this sunspot AR 3089,
which is shaped like a heart, mind you.
Yeah. All right, so
is that an 8 right there? 8 of diamonds, huh? Whoa, what's going on there? Are you trying to get my attention? You're just mocking me with this. What is this?
All right, so for people that don't understand, Ronnie's numbers are 8s because you were born when?
8880. Come on, we don't have to make it about me.
No, but it's true, right? So 8880.
And that's also the gematria of my name too, okay? Ronald James Harris.
The gematria of your name
is 888.
Me, I just turned 50 and my birthday was September 1st. I'm a 9-1. So when I see 9 1s,
yes,
it catches my attention on the screen, right? And when you see the 8s, it catches your attention on the screen. Or just saying, that's what happens. And so it says, remember today, 9/4/49. Now is the time to pray. We're fully operational. Boom, the thunder says.
Bring it. Bring the thunder.
Yeah, so if you want to have some fun, go ahead, join the Ultra Nuclear Mega Force. Scroll through here and remember that under each one of these things.
Can you give a heart symbol to the 8 card for me, please?
Let's see here.
So, by the way, I want to point out that you have that spinning sun. Thank you very much. Can you scroll back up? That spinning sun, I just want to let people know that that's CGI. Okay, the sun cartwheels. You only see one face of the sun. You only see one face of the moon. The sun cartwheels. Now, the other interesting thing that I want to bring up, are you going to show the solar flare tab?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait. I'll hold my moments until then. Continue, please.
So, I mean, I just wanted to point out here, this 1,136 comments here. So you can go through and people have dripped a whole bunch of extra stuff that really stacks in so much of the details. I mean, it was the earlier ones about September 3rd with them flipping the switch on the frequency and stuff like that. That they had all the propaganda, the predictive programming towards the zombie apocalypse. They had it all. The CDC memes where they actually had it on their website, all that kind of stuff. So you can have some fun scrolling through here if you're bored. But let's go on to a tab regarding this guy they call Jetson.
Someone said in the chat, Cracker Jack Dakota rings are vastly underrated. I guess in the Q community, if you got the good Cracker Jack Dakota ring, you get to be top dog.
So what I want to do here is see if I can bring up his transcript, because it'll help us skip through it with a couple keywords.
This is some funny stuff right here. Sorry, everybody. At the end of the day, I actually like this little guy. He's got a good heart. He's funny. He seems genuine and nice, you know?
All right. So actually, the details that'll help a person more than even just watching this is he published this on September 3rd. September 3rd is the date that he said that they were going to flip the switch and the frequency was going to happen. And he was warning everybody to stay away from the people that have taken a lot of stuff, injectables, right? So his warning was stay away from the people that have all these injectables, because they're going to turn into zombies when they flip the switch. So 9-3 came along, and this was published 9-3, and what he's publishing is a show from 9-1. My number shows up, and so he says the 9-3 date is still solid, but obviously our best guess for the time was incorrect. One of the 5 9-1 Ultra Q posts urging people to steer clear of these people, right? Said midnight to midnight. So midnight to midnight. We'll be rebooking our hotel and staying safe for one more night. So he actually gives his group of people counsel as to, for this event, you should be in a hotel, because hotel rooms have one point of entry, and homes usually have many, plus windows and all that kind of stuff. So they were actually making plans, right?
To prepare for the zombie apocalypse. Everybody
They were.
True.
So trying to skip through. Here we go. All right, so there's this guy Tom Numbers. I'm not familiar with him, but he's Mr. Gematria. Like, his whole job is Jetson will be saying something, all of a sudden Tom Numbers stops him and says, "Did you know that equals this number?" And then everybody goes, "Whoa, that's crazy," right?
Yeah, the numbers, they get everybody just going crazy, right?
So this is a serious Gematria crew over here. But they're Rapture Watchers.
Wow. Really? Do those two things go together?
Active Rapture Watchers.
Wow. Okay.
And
that's interesting.
And they talk about what's going to happen to the 144,000, and they talk about what's going to happen to the Saints, and they've got details.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right, everybody? We got this crew, and they're like, do they do like channeling and that kind of stuff? They're New Agers, right? Or no? They're not Christian.
They act sort of like they're Christian.
Wow. Okay. Hey, I'll let everybody decide what they want to be.
Let's give it a little listen here.
All right.
Now this Tesla's tech is very finely tuned.
If it's sped up, and this guy does definitely remind me of an elf. He's got really pointed ears. It's cool. He looks cool, and he's got a high pitched voice. Seems really nice though.
Yeah, real soft, and I don't know about genuine, but
he definitely looks like a character out of the Game of Thrones or whatever, for sure.
Yeah, so he's talking about Tesla tech. He's saying that what the 5Gs has is some sort of Tesla tech. They always use anything that AI is Tesla tech, all this kind of stuff. Tesla tech. But let's hear about the frequencies.
Now this Tesla's tech is very finely tuned, and I did finally found, as all these details started coming to me, I was actually handed on a silver platter some of his own writings about how he can tune his tech to only affect certain frequencies. And that's what he's done. The people that will be going in the rapture are not.
See, I told you this is
Wow.
rapture talk.
Okay, let's go.
The saints.
Hang on.
Saints have
Should
too high
we
a
should point out.
frequency.
All right, so
We don't believe in a rapture event that most Christians do. I just want to point that out. We think there might be something that takes place halfway through the tribulation.
but he's talking about a frequency thing that targets a middle range of people where
Yeah, he was saying the saints have their own frequency.
their resonance is too high, so they are unaffected by whatever it is that they're doing with these frequencies. He's saying.
For Tesla's tech. And the other people staying are those who are knowingly choosing evil over good, and all of the other hybrids and robotoids, and they're not going either. So the evil people are staying.
They're not going either, huh?
And the 144,000 are staying, but everyone in between that, in the mid-range frequency, will disappear.
So he says disappear, but then he also says zombie apocalypse, right? Let's see if we skip through frequencies. He says it again. Where did my search go?
Yeah, it's interesting that he's bringing up frequency and being affected by certain vibrations. It's important for us to understand that our spiritual bodies are actually more of a frequency. So, that is actually, true. And you can actually raise your vibration too when you start acting the correct way and doing correct things. You can raise your frequency and not be affected by a lot of stuff too. But hey, then again, we're in a place of learning. You don't want to end up in the mountains and not do anything, just sit there and be blissed out all the time. You want to get into the spiritual warfare. You got to build your strength.
All right, so we'll
you
just
ready?
give this section here a little run, and you'll get to have an idea of what this guy is.
All right.
Yes.
Does that correct does that help the zombies become less zombified in that period?
Oh yeah, it will completely restore every person. Not only will their DNA,
It's like a super duper med bed.
right, their bodies will be restored. It could be that everyone's put like I was told it'd be a level playing field, physically, emotionally, and psychologically.
Wow.
So if that means that everybody over a certain age everybody's the same age, that might be the case. I don't know. I don't have that detail, but that would make sense to me that something like that would happen if everybody's on the same playing field. And another thing is, so you've got everybody there, and they're going to correct what has been done here in this 3D environment that was
3D environment. So all of a sudden it seems like he knows a little bit about us being in a simulation.
invaded. They put the ego in the driver's seat. That's not how God created humans. The ego is supposed to be in the back, baby seat in the back, strapped in.
No ego at all.
So that will be corrected so that people
How about that?
aren't living from the ego mind. They're able to tap in to their connection with God if they choose. Now, God never,
We have that right now.
pushes himself as far as forces humans to be his people. But if they choose that, it will be much, much easier
Hold
to
on. You gotta
live
pause.
that life.
So he's talking about the millennial reign, right? And no one is going to ask, do you know Yahawahashai? Because everybody's going to know everything. So we're going to be given remembrance of all things that have come to pass. And we're going to all be invincible physically. Now, what you've done in the last 6,000 years, roughly, however long you've been here, you will get back. You will be in that range of place. It's not going to be an even playing field. Those that did will get those who didn't do anything. The stuff is going to be taken from them and given to the people who did. So there's going to be a ranking, just like any other correct kingdom. Okay, and then everything that we do will actually get earned for. If you build something, it's yours. It's not going to be the way that we have to go to work here. But I could go on and on and on. But he does have a lot of great ideas. I like what he says.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of places where this sort of talks about the actual biblical narrative from a virtual reality standpoint. So,
but I like how he was.
It's twisted.
Yeah, it's not an even playing field. There's just not going to be anything that's wicked, right? People don't understand. But we could go on and on for hours talking about this kind of stuff.
Much easier to live that life.
Jetson, may I ask
Yes.
a question?
Sure.
So regarding for example, my grandfather who is already in the other side, is he
Right.
passing through the same process we are here? Is it happening? The event I call somehow
Do you want me to give an
the
answer to
state
that?
as a
Yeah,
big event,
let
right?
Let him
Is he
respond, because
experiencing
get to
it
a
all
point
over there?
where you'll be upset.
Well, see, this is a soul trap, so there's nobody really
No.
over there.
Okay, we have our explanation of this point here. Jason, do you want to start with your idea, or do you want me to?
Soul trap. I see this as a virtual reality world that the creator may have had the intention of trapping wicked spirits, like a
Honey trap.
honey trap,
It's called a honey
and,
trap.
imprison the wicked spirits,
Mhm.
and that it was a filtering process to see who the wicked and who the righteous were, and that's the way I see it.
It's exactly the way that I see it too. So
Nobody went to heaven.
okay, hold on.
Was your
I wanted to explain this part too. So time as we see it is only a construct of human beings. That's it. Everything else is happening outside of time, including the creator. He's outside of it. That's how he was able to create it. You can't create something if you're bound by it. So when people pass away, we don't understand. It's like the wind as it blows by us. We don't know where it goes or how it came to us, but we know that the wind just went by us. And so too it is our spirits as it goes where it needs to go. So anyone else that tries to come up with any ideas is this being a soul trap. If you think when you pass away, you're going to tell the angels that come and meet you, like, F you, I'm not going back in. You try to like run away from the light. I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to get very far. So just understand that you're in a virtual reality and you are going to live forever if you believe that the Son, the living creator, the first and the last, he died, he was tortured and killed for us. That's it. If you believe that, you're going to live forever. That was the good news that they were going around. He was literally telling them, even if you die, you're going to be born again. That was the message of the gospel of the New Testament, which the Vatican and all the Jesuits have completely flipped upside down into saying some prayer and you thinking you're saved, which is absolutely the furthest thing from the truth.
I think I see the studio background is paused. We'll check out just a little bit more of this and then we can move on.
I can fix that.
your grandfather a saint or just regular good person kind of guy?
Oh, a regular, very good
Okay.
person.
Well, all humans in that range, dead and alive, because see, just because you die, it doesn't change your frequency.
All right.
Will be going.
So that's a good point right there. Just because you die does not change your frequency. We know that when this human body is dead here, that we continue to exist, and we continue to exist at the frequency we did here. We're just not in body anymore. So he's making a good point.
To the New West.
It's the south.
And they keep on referring to the New West, and I don't know what specifically they mean by that, but they're headed to the New West. This team right here, and Trump's headed to the New West, and all the Freemasons and all the leftists and all those people are headed to the New West. So I don't think I want to head west. Let's see here. Yeah, there's all the gematria like crazy here. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check it out. We got Tom Numbers, we got Jetson. They are talking about what they see coming, New World Order narrative wise. Right? Zombie apocalypse is what they're talking about. All right, so let's move on to Trump here. And all right, we had the whole Mar-a-Lago thing on 8/8. Everybody's pointing out the Mar-a-Lago thing on 8/8. They say Trump's the 88. And the picture that we finally got from the FBI, this is what they seized from Trump's office, right? So you look at the articles, look at the picture, and sure, they've whited all the top secret stuff. You can't see the nuke codes here. Those are fake. Nukes are fake. But what stands out to me is you got the Time magazines in the box over here. So the FBI decided to take Trump's Time magazine covers. All right? Makes sense to me. These things are top secret. All right? You can't put that in a frame and put it on a wall. It's ludicrous. So I wanted to know more about this Time cover, and it turns out that this Time cover is called Knock Knock. Does everybody know the knock knock joke? It goes knock knock, and next line is who's there, right? So is Trump's line Antichrist? And then everybody else goes Antichrist too, right? Is this the joke? I don't know. It really could be. So you got these people looking at Trump through the window. This is the knock knock. This is what they decided to show in the FBI. All right, here's the uncropped version. You can really see the whole magazine over here. It's on t-shirts already. You can order your knock knock t-shirt. Hurry. I don't think you have much time. And all right, so we've got articles about this already. Donald Trump apparently kept knock knock Time cover at Mar-a-Lago. All right, top secret.
Nah, this is just them showing us their propaganda and their signs and symbols.
Exactly. All right, so what else did I have? That's the Trump
Being brought up. Yeah, I'm glyphed down anyways, but we're good. I'm glad it froze like that, so we'll keep going. Don't worry.
All right. Let's see. There was Time did a really interesting piece on how they've covered Donald Trump. I thought I had that tab up. I might just grab it quick. Time covers with Trump. All right, so Time
15 times. I think
Time did a whole article about the covers that they've done for Trump, and they point out that Trump is a Time cover whore. He's like all into it, right?
Campaign to be named Time's Person of the Year, using rallies and his Twitter feed to comment on Time's choices.
they should have picked me for the Person of the Year, but they didn't. No, they should.
All right, and then they go on to show who was on the cover of Time most. This might be interesting. So here's Trump. He was on it 35 times while he was in office, or 35 times so far.
55 covers. The fourth most of any president behind Richard Nixon's 55 covers, Ronald Reagan with 46, and Bill Clinton with 40. Rounding out the top 10 are George W. Bush with 32, Barack Obama 31, Jimmy Carter 27, Jesus 22, and Hillary Clinton and George H.W. Bush tied at 21.
All right, so remember, everybody, if he's the Antichrist, he's coming, like he's going to say he's Jesus. So these two tie together. This one right here, there's a good chance there's JFK. All right, so we've got death fakers. We've got all this ode to Trump. Check out the series that they did for Trump. Oh, there's another scene, so I don't want to miss that. Here, let's check this out.
We first introduced candidate Trump to Times readers in August of
Can you zoom in, please?
2015, when photographer Martin Scholler and Time editor-at-large Paul Moakley brought a live bald eagle to the Trump Tower in New York City for a portrait.
All right, so this scene actually is in one of our intros of a video that got a strike on YouTube. I do believe that it is up on Odyssey. All right, so we've got a clip of this. It's funny.
This symbol of democracy was particularly animated during
Yeah, that bird don't like him.
session, even angrily nipping at the president's hand.
If people have seen our intros, they've seen that scene right there.
That was hilarious. Trump was freaking out like a little bitch.
We produced 7 covers featuring Trump and created an original visual language for this president with the artwork of artist Adele Rodriguez. Rodriguez, who worked as Times International Art Director in the 1990s, has a strong, simple graphic style that immediately grabbed worldwide.
This is a little boring. So it starts to get interesting with some of these covers. So here's Trump with
Washington Monument.
Destroying the monument.
yes. That could be some symbolism right there. I'm just saying.
A graphic wrecking ball, an angry character with his hair on fire, a cross between himself and Vladimir
That's him trying to be Christ.
King looking into
Christ is the one with the flames.
Yeah. Now visions of absolute power.
a cover, a slingshot holding fighter dueling with Nancy Pelosi, a happy president whistling under an umbrella in the rain, and a man who has painted himself into a corner. We've also photographed Trump for multiple covers, including a White House tour for our May 22nd, 2017 cover, and an Oval Office conversation in the summer of 2019 on Trump's plan to keep the White House. My favorite time cover of Trump.
Ooh, this is interesting. His favorite time cover. Take a look at this. I mean, now, do we remember Trump's thing saying this could be the calm before the storm? Looks like a storm. Looks like a storm right there.
Is nothing to see here from February 27th, 2017. I believe the strongest time covers leave space for a variety of perspectives. For this cover, if you're an opponent of President Trump, you look at the cover and you see all the chaos that this man has created.
Chaos,
And
eh?
if you're a supporter of the president, you look at it and say, even among all the chaos in Washington, look how resolute he is sitting behind that desk. That is a great place for a time cover to be. That image was created by longtime Time collaborator Tim O'Brien, who has painted more covers in the past 30 years than any other artist. It was the first of what would be.
What do we see now? Now all of a sudden he's in the office with a wave and a storm. Our Time went a little extra on their part with this video here. Check this out.
Become a series of 4 paintings from
Now all of a sudden he's floating in the water.
O'Brien depicting Trump.
Here's the wave hitting Washington, D.C. Trump's out there floating in the sea of V's. All right, this is very symbolic. Very symbolic here. That wave shows up in a few places. We're going to show you a few more waves tonight.
Been a growing storm within the Oval Office. Our Trump covers have certainly not been without debate. An image we created of Trump.
Is there any more? Oh yeah, so this is Trump's idea at the end here.
Justice protests and the rising COVID numbers. And even though the image of Trump wasn't physically shown on 2 recent covers, his influence was still present. While Trump's presidency has come to a close, it's certainly possible that we haven't seen the last of him on the cover of Time.
All right, so now let's talk about Artemis. All right, Artemis was supposed to have launched yesterday. All right, they scrubbed, then they were supposed to launch yesterday, and it got scrubbed. And then initially at the end of that, they were saying that Monday Monday they might go. Monday they might go. And it was supposed to be in the afternoon, like 3 Eastern, I think, and tomorrow. All right. So I was thinking that they were going to do this Artemis thing this weekend because it's Labor Day and people are probably going to be, holiday weekend. Saturday would have gotten a big viewership, and even Monday would have gotten a big viewership. They were saying in Florida they were expecting crowds of 400,000 people to show up. So just imagine yesterday if you were one of the 400,000 people that went into the parking lots and got onto the buses, and went to the bleachers, and you had all your NASA gear on, and you had your flags, and right? You're
and then
you're sitting there eating your cotton candy and popcorn, and
then you hear over the loudspeaker, due to the failure of an O-ring, we're going to have to cancel the launch. But today it was a good thing for NASA because we showed up and proved that we were reliable. The nonsense that came out of NASA today was unbelievable. That we're going to have to scrub it, and we don't see that the launch will be in anywhere in the foreseeable future because we're not just going to play around here. We have to be 100% sure when we launch. The nonsense that these guys were spouting. It's obviously, this is a ritual. This is what the Masons and all the other secret societies do. They keep you focused on something, right, as they pump you with their stupid, weak-ass magic. And this is what they're trying to do with this Artemis thing. Now, you're going to tie it into a bunch of more topics. I'm just giving everybody what I see.
Yeah, so here we are with time again. On August 27th, all right, Return to the Moon Artemis 1 mission. We've got a Time article that really summarizes this whole mission. I just want to point out the nonsense, the crazy nonsense. So let's pick our way through this quick.
The SLS and Orion are set.
All right, so this is SLS. SLS.
It's an obelisk. It's not even real.
Well, the SLS is going to come up in something.
I was pointing out that it's this.
Remember, this is referred to as the SLS and Orion.
To launch at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The rocket stands 322 feet tall.
Most people are going to recognize this as an occult number, right? So,
skull and bones.
About the length of a football field. The core of the rocket is devoted to propellant. At ignition, 4 engines and 2 booster rockets lift the craft with 8.8 million thrust.
Right, let's see.
Get out of here.
Coming up.
Come on.
Coming up.
This is nonsense, you guys. They even made the CGI shake like the CGI they make for the TV.
At about 2 minutes in and 28 miles up, the spent boosters are jettisoned.
Jettison the
No
boosters.
longer needed, the launch abort system falls away.
This thing pops some layers.
Nominal.
Check.
That was nominal.
The core engines cut off.
Nominal.
The main stage separates.
Core engine sep.
The solar panels deploy.
Wow.
They will
Did you know about the solar panels?
No, but come on. They need to have solar panels.
Solar is green energy. They're not polluting in space. Check this out.
provide power throughout the journey.
Wow. Renewable power.
Translunar injection burn accelerates the ship.
Translunar injection burn. Go.
The TLIB. Nominal.
24,500 miles per hour, pushing against
nothing.
The vacuum of space.
Yeah, they're pushing against nothing. There's no atmosphere in outer space. If there's no outer space, continue.
Ship to 24,500 miles per hour and into deep space.
Deep space.
Out of fuel, the propulsion stage drops off, leaving only the service module and capsule.
And they all land on "We Still Love You."
About 5 days.
All right. So did you know that they're supposed to coast for 5 days?
No. This is the Artemis launch, right?
It took them 3 days.
Yeah, in 1969.
In 69, and now it takes 5 days. So I guess there's a drawback to running on solar power.
Why aren't they using hydrogen?
Its engine to adjust for lunar flyby. The moon's gravity helps pull the craft into a distant retrograde orbit.
Oh, great, retrograde.
Engines burn for the return transit
I
and
can't
course
go wrong.
correct to intersect with Earth. The ship coasts with necessary correction burns to target Earth entry. The capsule separates as all propulsion power sources are expended.
Capsep nominal.
Yeah.
Capsep.
Thrusters twist the capsule.
Gotta have thrusters.
The heat shield down.
Now we're good. No wing, no rotation.
Capsule hits Earth's atmosphere at 24,500
It's hot.
miles per hour.
It's hot.
Friction heats the
You light a
shield
cigarette off that thing.
5,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. What temperature does glass melt out? Are
Lower.
these windows?
Yeah, they're supposed to be. They're made out of
metal?
something else.
What temperature
Nah,
does that melt?
it's that tiles that they build,
Yeah,
right?
heat shield.
Heat shield tiles.
Fahrenheit. As gravity
Parachute
pulls the craft
deployment.
down, parachutes deploy at 20,000
Nominal.
feet to slow its descent. The capsule
nominal.
splashes down in the Pacific Ocean about 6 weeks.
Man, we
after
still love you. Picks them up.
Now, did you catch this?
6 weeks.
Capsule splashes down in the Pacific Ocean about 6 weeks after
That's a
launch.
long flight, man. Come on.
6
Wow.
weeks?
Wow. And there's no.
I had
This
no
is
idea.
unmanned too. This is all done electronically through
This is
signals.
This is Time Magazine telling us 5 days there.
Like, what
6
happens
weeks.
if the crap? Go ahead.
Yeah, 5
what-
days there, 6 weeks for this mission.
What,
Who knew?
what happens when it goes around the backside of the moon? We're gonna have the first ever pictures of the back of the moon. What happens to the signal? Like, I mean, I can go 10 feet from where I am right now, and I don't have a cell phone signal anymore on Earth.
Nope.
And they're gonna fly this thing behind the moon. At least it's not gonna be manned, right? This is a non-manned flight. But I mean, it's so ridiculous for them to try to say that they're gonna remote control fly a rocket around the moon in 6 weeks. And it's, the whole time it's gonna be powered by solar panels. Don't worry. Just like the ISS, you guys understand that thing was only supposed to last like a year in outer space, right? What has it been? 30 years? Right? It's never been repaired.
I think.
They've never taken it down. People just sometimes miss that, and I've got to do a little bit of resizing here on the screen to make sure that that's in the center. But continue. Artemis, NASA's moon rocket will need what?
Leak repair. Yes, they need leak repair. So controllers tried and failed again on Saturday to get the SLS vehicle to lift off. They were thwarted by a fuel leak. Engineers now want to inspect the rocket, and any repairs may need to happen in the workshop rather than on the launch pad.
Oh, no way. They got to take it down, right?
The whole process is certain to lead to a setback of several weeks. Several weeks. It means we may
what?
not see a third launch attempt before mid-October at the earliest.
After the festivals, huh? Okay.
All right, so it's the most powerful rocket, blah, blah, blah. It's been 50 years. And there's more here. Let's get through. All right, it's uncrewed. It's a hard business. They're going to fly when they're ready.
We're proud of the team. Everybody did
Safe-
great.
Yeah, safety is at the top of the list.
Safety first, always.
Bill Nelson and his Artemis managers are adamant SLS will not launch until it's ready.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, not until we're 100%, okay? It's not just like we think it's a good time to go. We need to be directly ready to go. And you can see, is that where the leak is? Right there where those hoses are attaching? That's where the O-ring's faulty? They just can't get the hydrogen into the thing, right? Is that what the problem is?
Yeah. It says in here.
I mean, obviously NASA is showing us that hydrogen has to be the stupidest fuel you could ever use. Why would anybody use hydrogen for anything? Clearly, NASA, thank you for showing us.
All right, so it's all about a leaky O-ring. Remember the Challenger? It was an O-ring. So the leaky seal on the SLS could conceivably be fixed on the launch pad, but there are batteries in the termination system used to destroy the rocket in the event of a wayward launch that will require recertification beyond this coming week, and this can only be done in the workshop. Rolling the vehicle back to the engineering building makes the third liftoff attempt before mid-October unlikely. In order to test our batteries, change out the batteries, we have to roll back. All right, so they've got batteries for their self-destruct system. They have to take them out. right? So who designed this thing where you got to take the batteries out? You got to roll the rocket all the way back into the building to take the batteries out and test them, right? That genius engineering there. Here they're showing it off. Look at this is the child level. This is the launch abort system. So this is where the batteries are that have to be recharged, tested. You got Orion. You got the cryogenic propulsion stage. That sounds fancy. Cryogenic. Launch vehicle stage adapter. You always have to have a stage adapter. If you're going to put one stage on another stage, there's got to be a stage adapter. You got solid rocket boosters. Look, they don't even label this.
Have you
Let you know that this is the
engines
engine or the bell hub or whatever.
Well, and if you look closely at the design of the ship too, and you look at the hinge points where they actually attach these said boosters to the rocket, they're like, 5 inches.
Steel.
You know what I mean? It's the smallest little bolt. They got the whole rocket supposedly boosting it into outer space. There would be huge ass girders. It would be like super fastened in like 20 spots. They'd have these huge braces with like 50 bolts per brace to hold those boosters as it thrusts. Because people, you need to understand, when you lift something off the ground that's heavy, you need to have a lot of strength. Right? Like they have just this little tiny one little piece of steel connecting the whole booster to the side of it's retarded whoever came up to the schematics of this engineering.
It gets worse. NASA had first tried to launch the rocket on Monday. That attempt was waved off when controllers couldn't be sure the 4 big engines at the base of the core stage were at the correct operating temperature. Frustratingly, subsequent analysis indicated that a sensor was almost certainly outputting inaccurate readings. The power units, in all probability, were absolutely the right condition to go flying.
Everything was good.
Yeah. When it does get away, it's going to be a spectacular sight. It's going to be the shuttle on steroids.
It's going to be on steroids.
Yeah.
I think this is the guy that I was listening to today saying how like wonderful of a job everybody did at NASA, and we proved to the world that we could come together as a team. And it was just like the stupidest pep rally I've ever heard. I felt sick to my stomach listening to it.
So more safe. Right?
More safe.
Really, we're building on safe, capable designs.
It wasn't a fail because we proved to the world how safe we are today.
So then they go on to talk about here's
some cartoons.
Here's the orbital mechanics.
Orbital mechanics, the stuff they lost from when they went to the moon, right? They taped over it with Oprah episodes.
This is the telemetry.
Someone at NASA just decided they hit record over the telemetry data supposedly when we went to the moon. They didn't have any of that. But we got new stuff now.
The thing is they said note, illustration not to scale. So
debunked, all you flat earthers, debunked. It's not to scale. There's a flat horizon there that they show you, right? But it's just because you don't have enough of the view.
Yeah,
you need to zoom out more because you're just this tiny dot on this giant beach ball. You're like a grain of sand, right?
So here's one more article that we can do on this. And so spraying a dangerous leak, forcing controllers to call off the second attempt. It's after the latest setback, mission managers decided to haul the rocket off the pad and into the hangar for further repairs and system updates. Some of the work and testing may be performed at the pad before the rocket is moved. So it said that they decided to haul it off.
Right. But some more testing could have been done while it was there.
But some of the work might be done before they move it. Either way, several weeks of work will be needed, according to
they're
officials.
being hypocritical in their own statement. When they're going to move it, we're not going to move it. We'll see. It's going to be a few weeks.
Yeah, with a 2-week launch blackout period looming in just a few days, the rocket is now grounded until late September or October.
It's in NASA rocket jail.
Oh.
Went against the community standards.
Safety is the top priority.
Yeah, they proved to the whole world that they were reliable by not launching on time.
We're not launching until it's right.
Artemis, get you some mind control. Is this that guy? Remember the one guy who kept pointing to everyone in the crowd, not answering any of the questions? He's not there? Oh, why did they cheap out? They should have got that guy.
He's a Mars guy, I think.
Yeah, he's a rover guy.
Ground controllers tried to plug it. We're talking about a hydrogen leak, right? So now all of a sudden it sounds like the way a plumber would talk. The ground controllers tried to plug it the way they handled previous smaller leaks, stopping and restarting the flow of the super cold liquid hydrogen in hopes of closing the gap around a seal in the supply line. They tried that twice. In fact, also flushed helium through the line, but the leak persisted.
I don't know if gaskets or seals do well when you freeze them. Just saying, you know.
Yeah. Mission manager Mike Seraphin told journalists it was too early to tell what caused the leak, but it may have been due to the inadvertent overpressurization of the hydrogen line earlier in the morning when someone sent commands to the wrong valve.
Oh no. Someone just turned the lever, send it to that valve, and that was closed. So it forced
the high pressure connection, right?
Forced the O-ring out of place, thus having the hydrogen escape. Okay, it all makes sense now.
During Monday's attempt, a series of small hydrogen leaks popped up there and elsewhere on the rocket. Technicians tightened up the fittings over the following
It's just popping out everywhere now. We just leak. We got a leak on the third engine, leak on the tank. Leak at, what is that other thing you said they needed to have? Leak in the third adapter, leak in the first adapter. Is that what happened? Like hydrogen, man. What are you guys doing, NASA? Hydrogen has to be the stupidest fuel you could ever think of.
You would think they would have some flex tape, right?
A flex tape and some of that, what's that seal called that you put on the canoes? What's that stuff? On the kayaks. Red seal, red guard. Why don't they red guard the whole entire thing all around those seals? I'll tell you guys, NASA, if you take my advice, this will work. Get you some pails of red guard and some paintbrushes, right? And get you guys up on some scissor lifts around that there rocket and start painting the red guard all around those seals, and you'll probably still be able to get the thing filled up, right? Red guard's pretty good, Jason. I've seen it hold out a lot of liquids from things, right? Red guard.
Man, here's some more of their buffoonery. Even more of a problem Monday was that a sensor indicated one of the rocket's 4 engines was too warm, though engineers later verified it was actually cool enough. The launch team planned to ignore the faulty sensor. All right, so it's a faulty sensor, we're just going to ignore it this time around and rely on other instruments to ensure each main engine was properly chilled. But the countdown never got that far.
Had to chill the engine. It wasn't chilled enough.
Thousands of people who jammed the coast over the long Labor Day weekend, hoping to see the space launch, left disappointed. So
yeah, imagine, right?
Here's where I wonder: 400,000 people showing up to an event is a lot of people. Did they really have 400,000 people there sitting in the stands waiting to watch this take off?
I mean, if you live in the Cape Canaveral area, obviously you're on the team, and it's go time. It's time to go to work. So they all get their notice on their cars, or it comes in the mail, or they get some email. So show up on this date, they all go, or they don't get to live in that community. We know how it all works. They started it long before Sandy Hook, but they still do it.
I don't think they went. I don't think 400. I think they knew that it wasn't going to fly. Is my hunch. I
didn't see the whole Reds rhetoric team and Sean whatever with their Walkera drones. They're not there. Reds and Astronomy Live aren't filming it.
No.
What? No. You're not hearing anything from them?
It's not gonna fly, right?
The trip to the moon isn't the biggest thing on the Ball of Earth team right now.
Well, supposedly, but not really.
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, so the last time they walked on the moon, 72. That was 50 years ago, everybody. Because I was born in 72 and just had my...
Jubilee. We're talking about a Jubilee here, you guys. So this is the end of a Jubilee, 50-year cycle, where everybody is supposed to get what's theirs back, biblically. Okay, so there's a good chance that these people are all freaking out right now. And this Artemis thing has a larger agenda. But yeah, let's continue on.
So we watched this movie last night, and me personally, I just thought it was just insanely dumb, but I think it was done intentionally that way. So we went through it. You said for a fantasy movie,
yeah,
you're okay with it.
It'd be cool if there was an ancient civilization that seeded the moon and it was a mechanical device, and we were actually descended from these ancient, ancestral people. And then we had to save the Earth through destroying this dragon that's infesting them. But that was a cool kind of if we're going to go like heliocentric when we watch a movie. But the problem is the storyline kind of sucked. But, they could have done a better job. You're saying they did it intentionally so that they could get the propaganda. There was a bunch of Kaspersky ads. There was a bunch of symbolism.
Okay. So it says here in 2022, humanity will face the dark side of the moon. Well, it's 2022. And so this movie was released this year, but there's also a good chance that you didn't watch it. Not many people did. There's a plot here. And so let's jump to the trailer quick and see what the trailer, we'll show people the trailer here. And then maybe we'll talk about the plot just a little bit.
Watching this thing, you know by now. If you're watching this thing, you know by now a huge problem is heading our way. An emergency meeting is being called at our usual place immediately. Free bagels.
All right. So right away, boom, Lionsgate. Show everybody here. Lionsgate movies. Lionsgate. I've been hearing a lot about Lionsgate. I've been hearing a lot about 8 in the Lionsgate. And I hear this with Trump. And so we've got Lionsgate repping this 22 movie Moonfall.
Well, and the free bagels thing was also hand symbolism as well. It was a code.
Shocking discovery. I need you to get me in touch with NASA immediately.
Well, NASA and I aren't really on speaking terms these days.
Oh, that'll change.
Oh, I missed it. I gotta catch this. It's
well,
quick.
NASA and I aren't really on speaking terms these days.
Oh, that'll change.
All right. Hopefully you can make that out. It says Kaspersky.
Antivirus software for Microsoft consumers.
Well, yeah. So the Q-tard thing that we were at, the Ultra Mega Q, the way we started this, that's John McAfee running that.
Yeah.
John McAfee's known for Kaspersky's, right?
Yeah. Well, and just to give quick people the backtrack. So they made your computer faulty. Bill Gates or whoever it was that made the software. And then what they did was they used these antiviral programs to scan and steal everything in your computer. Okay. They made it glitch. So you had to go out and buy these programs. We all did it if you had the Windows, Microsoft products. And then what they were doing, it was a wiretap. They were installing malware onto your computer, not cleaning it. And then they obviously had the code to fix the glitch that was put into the programming. So all of these different things that people do. And if you're still using this antivirus software stuff, you're probably giving them like so many just wiretaps into your life.
Absolutely. So here this tied around to the way we started with Q and John, whatever his name is.
When you tell them that the moon is out of orbit.
All right. We have a full moon rising, right? When's the next full moon?
9/11.
9/11. So from the director of Independence Day, I'm going to slow this down because they go quick. The director of The Day After Tomorrow. Now, The Day After Tomorrow was that footage of the wave coming into New York, knocking down the Statue of Liberty there. That was from The Day After Tomorrow. So we have another tie around. Movie 2012. There's another one. Universal Soldier, The Patriot, White House Down. All right, there's a Trump connection. Remember Trump floating in the water, White House Down. We're talking about an East Coast wave, everybody. Stargate, 10,000 BC, Midway, Anonymous, Godzilla. All right, so those are some serious credentials. This is a big time director. These are big time actors. Halle Berry's a big actor. This movie was intentionally done bad so that people would not watch it. Notice there's the 17 on the microphone. That's going to come around in a little bit.
There's no need to panic. I'm not crazy.
This scene right here is of a wave coming in, right? When I hit it to play again, watch, this is a wave coming in. This looks like West Coast, California. So not only are they showing East Coast disaster with waves, they're showing West Coast disaster with waves too. You've got like the angel of death up here in the clouds. And what? A full moon.
Why are they lying about all this?
It's too late to stop.
You knew all this was happening before NASA.
You're the unidentified source?
Oh, yes.
We're dealing with an intelligent entity. We're planning a mission to attack this thing.
Look at this. So what they're doing here is they're resurrecting one of the shuttles out of a museum, right? Because
they lost the technology and it's too difficult to build it back.
Yeah. They need to go to the moon, so they're resurrecting this thing. So one of the storylines that I see the way that they could use it, because this movie, that sort of Alfie looking guy that we were seeing Jetson earlier, he was saying that this movie is the script for what's coming up. He said even just the trailer alone is enough for you to...
I mean, it's the nonsense, stupid Freemasonic David Icke BS. The moon is hollow and we are seeded this planet by alien Anunnaki BS. It's not the script. It's mind control. Sorry. It just makes me mad. That whole David Icke nonsense, Eric Dubay, all these guys saying that Earth is a soul trap. Good luck when you stand before the creator of it that gave you life and brought you here. You're going to tell him that it's a soul trap. Good luck with that.
Say yes, Brian.
I need you to be brave.
If the moon really is what you think it is, suit up.
The janitor, the Astronomy Live YouTuber gets to go to outer space, right?
That's totally Astronomy Live.
The Tavistock mind control to get the NASA fanboys, right? They're feeding them the Tavistock mind control throughout the whole movie, trying to make it glamorized, like anyone's going to go to space.
All right. So once again here, the music that they're playing, I see the bad moon arising. All right. Well, full moon 9/11, everybody.
You have
Here comes the wave.
got a big gravity wave coming your way. You have to launch now.
Did he say gravity wave?
Trouble on the way.
We're underwater.
But the symbolism is the full moon and water destruction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And a resurrected launch. So what we just read in that article is that they might leave the SLS out on the launch pad and do some of this work. Maybe they won't take it back in.
They sort of mocked this movie in a way. They're sort of doing the similar thing.
Yeah, so they have this vehicle that they're saying they're not going to launch until everything's safe, everything's ready. And what if all of a sudden a solar flare is headed towards the ISS? Will they scramble it? Will they scramble it to go rescue the people on the ISS? Well, that could be their storyline.
They're gonna bring the shuttle back.
Look at this.
Not the rocket. They got to bring the shuttle back then.
So you got the 8.8 million pounds of thrust. I get the cover shot with a cat in a spacesuit, right?
9/1. Yeah, that's your birthday.
That's crazy.
I hear hurricanes are blowing.
Whoa, slow down!
What's the plan?
Save the moon, save Earth.
Ray, what are you doing?
It's flying itself!
Wait for it. Let's go, you son of a...
Hang on! Everybody, hang on!
I'm gonna get you home!
I mean,
moon on the rise, huh?
So there was some interesting things that I just want to point out real quick before we move on, is that there was an interesting spot where they were translated into what could have been considered a computer program, right?
Yeah.
So there actually was truth mixed in throughout the movie. If you have eyes to see, we're getting a notice. We got to move on from that. They did not like us playing that, but we gave commentary. We were definitely within the guidelines of fair use. None of this stuff we do is for money. This is completely educational and free under the 107 guideline rules.
Mm-hmm. And it's a trailer. Come on. Trailers should be, they should be paying us to play their trailer, right?
Yeah, we'll
trailer.
continue.
It's not
It's
the
just a
movie
warning.
itself.
if the stream gets taken down, if it says stream down, you know why. I just want to let people know.
All right. So from the Wikipedia on this, it says 10 years later, conspiracy theorist Hausman, this was the janitor, believes the moon is an artificial megastructure, secretly uses time on a research telescope. He discovers the moon's orbit is veering closer to Earth and tries to share his findings with the disgraced Harper. NASA also discovers the anomaly, but Hausman goes public on a social media, leading into a global panic. Fowler is now NASA's deputy director, launching an SLS. What is this? Get out of here. An SLS. It literally has the picture of Artemis, right? It says the first launch designated Artemis 1 is scheduled for a period between September 20th and October 4th. So they are literally referencing this rocket, right, to investigate the abnormality. So yeah, this movie has a lot of predictive programming in it for what might be shown.
The fake EMP stuff. They brought in the fake EMPs, which is nonsense. People, EMPs don't exist. It's nonsense. If the power goes off, they turned it off.
All right. That's not important. All right. I just want to point out here. So Trump spoke last night, September 3rd. And it was at this rally for Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. And it's funny, it says one watching now. So I watched it live. I'm the only person that hasn't clicked off of it yet. This is what I saw last night when I was watching it. And I think it's the way they show up now. They make this a little bit bigger. I just want to point out that I see some fakery going on in this footage big time. I don't know that this whole audience is real, and I just want to point this out for people to go out and test yourself. We're not going to go through it in too much depth here, but so check out a few scenes here. He's going to come up to the podium.
The Senate, you're going to elect.
No, he's getting settled in here now. Notice how blurry this is. They actually have all this crazy static, and but once it starts to clear up a little bit, start analyzing a couple of these characters, getting their positions.
An amazing slate of true America First Republicans to Congress, and we are going to end the Nancy Pelosi political career, the Biden political career. We're going to end it. Our country's going to hell. Our country is going to hell.
Did you choose that spot by accident?
No, I knew.
You knew. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you're honest. So, okay, let's just quicken to get into this. Okay, what we're suggesting is that we've been saying that they've been faking this stuff with CGI, computer-generated graphics, for a long time. Because Trump was doing 3-hour speeches 7 days a week, sometimes for like weeks and weeks on end. Just every day Trump would be speaking. He spoke for what, 2.5 hours here? So what Jason was pointing out is that people in the audience were glitching out. They weren't seeming to interact with themselves, nor were they following Trump throughout the different speech. It's weird. We don't have 100% true, because there has been shills that have gone to these Trump rallies and like mocked the people and trolled them in the lineup. So they do have rallies, but is Trump a hologram? Is he a projection on the screen? Now we know they absolutely have this technology, right? It would make sense.
All right. So here's what I have to say about it. If a camera is sitting in a fixed position, shooting straight ahead here, once you zoom in like this, it's locked. Things should not change. Now the camera is going to shake side to side every so often, but the audience changes constantly. There's a constant audience change. So you see here, you've got the black dress lady, the blue shirt guy, the blue dress lady here. This red shirt is with this vest guy, this vest guy. There's a black guy here that he's going to end up over here. Everybody's going to switch places during this video in a really weird way. So what happens is they'll put their signs up, and then when they pull their signs down, people will be in different places, and all of a sudden new people will appear. The Asian women down here playing with their phones, they don't even pay attention to Trump. This guy right here just stares forward. This person stares forward. If you actually sit down and analyze this, what it looks like to me is that some of these people are in groups. Blue dress is with this guy. They'll interact once in a while. Red shirt and the vest guys, they're together. So these are like people that did recordings of stuff in front of a green screen, and now they've just montaged it onto the page. Now, if you look here, it doesn't look like there's anybody sitting around in the background, but now all of a sudden the audience starts going through phases where they start standing up and sitting down, standing up and sitting down, and each time it changes. Now all of a sudden you can see that there's people that are actually like sitting back here while you have these guys standing here.
Because they had the laptop from hell, which had everything, and the corruption.
And you'll
Really why he's here, because paid off. I worked week.
All right, so here's a look at before. They looked like normal people side by side. Now all of a sudden, this guy, the biker guy, he's huge. I mean, look at the size of this guy. And all of a sudden, this guy's
it's so bad. There's so many things. I'm just gonna be quiet though.
this guy's way smaller than the red dress woman now. And then there's this totally disassociated face back here just sitting in a chair. These guys are just sitting back here in chairs.
Look at the blonde chick's face. What's going on?
These Asians never interested in what's going on up here whatsoever, just looking at their phones. The blue dress girl here, you can clearly see the blue outline, all right, of the mask in here. You can see when people are in front of each other in ways that aren't possible. You can see when people are sitting in the background in ways that aren't possible in reality, and then they all shift places. Like, let's in a little bit, remember blacks for Trump?
Yeah, there's a bunch of shifts on that one.
And so now all of a sudden here's people moving around.
What they do to police, and you're always going to have some bad apples, but they're very few. And we have a country that's become...
It just came out of nowhere. She just got up out of the ground. Did you see that? Behind the guy in the blue shirt.
And there's a child that shows up.
What? It's so crazy the way they morph.
There's a kid on headphones.
They're just mocking people with this nonsense.
Watch black guy. He's gonna make
it's just mockery, guys. Come on.
So they do some zoom outs where you can see the crowd. Oh, he made his move already. Let's
started dancing. That's funny.
All right, so here's black guy. He all of a sudden decides that here's the sitting down people that you didn't see before.
Right there too, in the middle of the crowd, they got seats.
Yeah. And watch black guy now.
To me for a perfect phone call.
And watch the Asians. They're looking up in the sky.
There's people climbing through the crowd right there.
District Attorney Trump.
Weird ways. There's a guy standing in the middle.
Challenging
now all of a sudden
the election. So they're after me for a perfect, by the way, perfect phone call. You'd be very proud of me.
They're
just
out
like the
there.
Call to Ukraine was a perfect call.
Where did remember the huge biker guy? Huge guy?
In Atlanta was a perfect call.
Now all of a sudden he's lower than the guy
And
that
yet
was super
Atlanta
short, and this guy is
even
above the
worse
red
than
girl.
Chicago,
But here comes, he's making his move.
Restoring safety to America starts with defeating the Democrat extremists right here in
Blacks for Trump.
your state's radical Democrat candidate for Senate. John Fetterman is the most dangerous Democrat.
The guy's out. He's out.
Democrat.
Yeah, look at the expressions on these people. This is the same look all the
To
time.
join Congress this year in one of the most fringe far-left freak shows ever to seek election.
I find this hilarious. A person could go through it and just pick it
The
out.
last couple of years, and I said, "You got to be kidding." Actually, I thought Connor Lamb. I don't know Connor Lamb, but I thought he was maybe.
All right. So the point is that we can expect with something coming up that we might just see a totally faked scene, totally staged scene. This does not look like it was a live event. These people do not look like they're paying attention to Trump. This whole thing looks staged, but he does have the 8822 on his podium here. And we've pointed out that he's supposed to be the 88 and it is 22. Another thing while we're here with the 88 and the 22, does anybody know what number you get if you add up 9, 11, which would be 1, 1, and 2022? Well, the 9 and the 1 makes 10, another 1, 11, another 2, 13, another 2, 15, and another 2, 17. So 17 is the Q-tard number, right? Q is 17. 9, 11 adds up to 17. So 9, 11, 22. So if you were to try this again next year, it would add up to 18. Right? So if 17's the Q number and Trump's the Q guy and he's got the Q team, that to me is another confirmation of 22 being the year that trumpets is actually a kickoff. So few more tabs here. We've got the article that you covered. Kathy Hochul's call for 5.4 million Republicans to leave New York is dangerous and disgusting. So this came out August 25th, and they're calling for Republicans, 5.4 of them, 5.4 million to leave New York. Well, what's going to happen in New York? What is going to happen in New York? I want to know. All right. And then the solar activity.
Well, it's good that you covered that, because I don't think any of the people that are here in the chat have ever seen what I cover in the morning show. So I just want to reiterate that again. Jason was pointing out that the Democratic or the Republican Party are telling all of the other Republican people in the city of New York to leave right now. They need to get out of the city. They're blaming the violence, but well, I mean, if the people don't leave and a great catastrophe takes place, right, they're going to be absolved because they warned the people, right? Yeah. A lot of people didn't show up to 9/11 on 9/11, okay? They were all warned.
All right, so here's a article about the solar storms, right? So that huge sunspot pointed straight at Earth has now developed delta magnetic field. That sounds serious, right? So this was published September 3rd, 13 hours ago. Well, I might need to refresh, but so I was looking at this, and the first thing I wanted to know is, well, which sunspot is it? And they say sunspot AR 3089. All right, so if you've looked at the gematria guys stuff enough, you'll recognize that 3 and 8 will make an 11. You'll drop the 0 and you have your 9/11. All right, so this
you and that stuff. I just want to point out that that's the sunspot shaped like a heart, and the other fact that the sunspots on the sun are actually viewed as void of light disproves that it's some kind of fireball.
Mm-hmm. All right, but they say it's pointing in the direction of Earth and have generated a magnetic field in the Delta class. Sounds very severe.
Oh no, not another Delta variant, says Bob Franklin in the chat.
Which indicates that it has accumulated sufficient energy to have the potential to emit solar flares of the X class.
Well, I mean, we do see that they're able to measure when the northern lights are going to happen. There's a website that you can go to, and we have seen an uptick in bright northern lights lately. So there is something going on in the sky, but what we're seeing right there, that blurping out sun picture right there, is a cartoon. And look at how they show the Earth. It's so ridiculous that we live on the Earth and we see the size of the Earth. We see the smaller sun in the sky. I'm not trying to mock the sun. Don't get me wrong. But the way that these sun worshipers have to make the sun this ginormous size, it's absolutely the most retarded thing. Scroll back up, bro. Show people that picture again. Could you imagine? Oh, sorry. They're just showing you it to scale, right? I mean, even, and then I guess to represent the distance between the sun and the moon now, if that's the scale, we would have to have the sun in Austin, and we would need to put the Earth, in the south, in Antarctica.
Yeah.
To make the scale on the computer screen the right size. It's so ridiculous, these guys.
And still be able to see one of them. So they're talking about geostorms, right? Geostorms. It's not a matter of if, it's when, they're saying. So let's see here. If you type in sunspot AR 3089 right now into the Google search results, the news, you're going to see a dangerous sunspot with major solar flare potential is pointing at Earth. Sunspot with X-class solar flare potential pointed straight at Earth. Huge sunspot pointed straight at Earth. Now this article is from 3 days ago, right? So they were talking about this 3089 3 days ago. The 3089 is on 9/11, and when I was thinking about this, this is probably what most people have seen when it comes to solar weather prediction. You've probably seen some channel that you follow show you this thing here. Now, this is from today, and it runs out to 9/8. So tomorrow it should run out to 9/9. So we've got 3 days here before the forecast is going to include 9/11. So I'm actually thinking that in the next 3 days, we might hear that the X-class solar flare, boom, launched. And then they're going to start talking about incoming solar wave that should hit on the 11th, because they're talking geostorm, they're talking waves, they're talking all this kind of stuff. We don't know exactly what the New World Order has planned. We're just looking at the propaganda that they've shared, and we're trying to make pieces of it. But everything that we're seeing is pointing to a big event on 9/11, a ritual taking place. So that really covers the majority of what I had regarding an update to 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, next week will be 9/11. So the Giants are playing the Titans in a meaningless game, but
Nephilim Bowl.
But people's attention may be on something else at this time period, people.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that within the next 3 days that we would get news of something, and that there would be some build up to it. I'm thinking that they might want to try to evacuate the ISS if a serious X-class flare is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And they might need the SLS rocket, and that moonfall and all that kind of stuff might have been made for a reason. So that's where I'm at.
There's tons of things that we're watching for, supernatural things too. The kickoff to the Great Tribulation could be any day.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be with trumpets. I think when that crescent moon shows itself on the next one, right? The next one. But I think the Antichrist is going to use the full moon before that new moon.
Yeah.
For his purposes, for his devices.
Yeah. That's the ritual time for these people, right?
It is.
But yeah, no, I thought you did an excellent job putting forth your presentation, Jason. Thank you very much. I appreciated your hard work. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I'm glad we had the chat. It was fun.
Shut off my share.
Yeah. Oh wait, not yet. Hopefully everybody, can take something away from this podcast. And stay tuned in. If you're not subscribed to my channel, it's just Limitless. I already threw you guys under the bus already, saying that nobody here has seen anything that I've done. So it's good that you went over it again, Jason. But make sure you guys try to tune into that stuff too. I give you guys updates in between these podcasts. It's something that happens in the morning on my channel. Please check it out if you guys want to see more of this kind of content and some other stuff too. So again, bro, thank you for your presentation tonight. If anybody else has any other things that they'd like to add to this, can you do it in the comment section below? Jason's on the comments. He's always interacting there. That is a place where we'd like to hear what you guys think. Be a part of the process here. We don't just want fence watchers. We want you to get into the game too. So yeah, thank you very much, Jason. And to everybody else, I'll let you say the last words and then I'll play us out.
Sunday. Season kickoff, the season of destruction kickoff. So that's what I'm thinking. Everybody, we'll see what happens, but hang in there. If you're a righteous person, relief is right around the corner, and if you're a wicked person, oh boy, it's going to be bad. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and stay tuned for the next update regarding 9/11 and the Feast of Trumpets. Good night, everybody.
I'm the guy that's running this new setup, see? I gotta have it at my fingers' ends if I'm gonna do it right. Let 'em have it.